Historical Society, and today we're going to talk about topiaries, and we're going to talk about the Arboretum. Now you're saying to yourself, why are we talking about topiaries for mid-century modern? But it's an illustration of all the activities we're going to be bringing to the Butler House, and this is just one of them. I have with me Jerry Behan, who's president of the Friends of the Arboretum, and he's a born and raised Florida native, grew up in Lauderdale by the Sea, and can tell you everything you want to know about trees. So this is Jerry Behan.
Hi folks.
And we're going to talk about topiary. So we have one here, and you were telling me some of the plants that are good for...
Yeah, there's a few plants that are generally used for it. This is probably the main one, or the one you see the most often. This is common name is Eugenia, but it's Syzygium. Yeah, I forget the species name, but it's it's completely different from Eugenia, but that's the common name they hung on it. And this is the one you always see up by somebody's garage door, where it's a spiral or pom-poms or something like that. Yeah. And you can see this is kind of started like that. It just kind of outgrew it, and it has to be reestablished.
So you have to keep trimming these.
Oh yeah. If this were up north, things grow much slower, and you do it once a year. Down here, you got to do it several times a year.
Constantly, yeah. Now tell us about the Arboretum. How long has that been around?
The Arboretum, Deerfield Beach Arboretum, started in 1995 by the city forester Zeke Landis. And in 1999, I came on board, and I started with Zeke, the Friends of the Deerfield Beach Arboretum, which is the not-for-profit that helps maintain it, manage it, and so on.
That's a big job. That's a huge job.
It's a big job, and that was a long time ago, and I'm not up to doing a lot of the same physical stuff as I was back then.
Oh boy, do you have many volunteers?
Yeah, we've probably got about 10 or 15 central cadre volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how big is the Arboretum?
The Arboretum is just shy of 10 acres.
Oh, that's 1 acre per person. That's a lot of work.
Something like that.
Yeah. And so how do you determine what you put in the Arboretum?
Well, originally the Arboretum was just a walking trail, and so it had native plants in there like pine trees and oak trees and cabbage palms and things like that. And when Zeke came in and got it declared as an Arboretum, he started putting in a lot more unusual and plants of interest.
Okay. And everything's labeled, so everything's labeled?
Not everything is labeled. I mean, we have probably 2,000 different plants, and,
wow.
and it's a huge task to label it. And we've tried several different labeling systems, and now we're on to a new one, and so hopefully this one will be more permanent. But
good.
More permanent. Nothing's permanent. The signs wear out and go away.
Yeah, it's never ending. You're never done.
It's never ending, and the Arboretum is never ending, because even if you have it set perfectly the way you want it, a hurricane comes through, knocks down half your stuff, and you have to start again.
Yeah.
Or some trees get old and die, or whatever.
Yeah.
But a growing garden is never static. It keeps growing and moving. And you plant 2 trees next to each other, one tree stays small, the next one gets big and shades it out, the next one out. So you have to you have to work with the garden that is evolving as it ages.
Wow. Sounds like fun.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah. And you have a tropical rainforest in there now too.
We have the rainforest, and right now it's under construction, so unfortunately people can't go back and enjoy it now. But hopefully within the next few months, the construction, this is a phase 2 construction. We had a phase 1 a couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago. This is phase 2, which is enlarging the water course area, putting in more waterfalls. When that is done, hopefully in a few months, then it'll be open again.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's such a beautiful place back there.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you also about how we can work at the Butler house, Butler 2 here, to landscape it so it looks mid-century. So we're going to go outside
Okay.
and take a look, and then you can tell us what we can do. Okay?
Yeah,
All
sure, let's go.
And by the way, the Arboretum always needs volunteers. So, and you know you really want to volunteer. You just don't realize it yet. So. Okay, I'm here with Jerry, Behan from the Arboretum. We're in the front of the house now, and he's going to give us some tips on what we can do to bring back that mid-century modern theme. What was popular in mid-century?
Crotons. Crotons was one of the biggest plants. Everybody had crotons.
Oh, huh.
The other thing was coconut palms. On every lot, everyone had a coconut palm.
Oh, no, those
And
aren't
if you-
native, are they?
They're not native, but everybody had one. And if you didn't have one, your neighbor had one that was planted right on the borderline, so it's like you kind of had one.
Oh,
But there was coconut palms on every lot. The other thing of popular was fruit trees. You had a lime tree or an orange tree or lemon, avocado maybe, something like that.
Oh, interesting.
Everybody had those as well. And then we had the diseases come through, so you just don't see those as much as you used to.
Oh, sure, that's right. So we would probably do crotons out here in front, huh?
Yeah, I would say do crotons out front here. You can still get coconut palms if you want. Other things that were popular in the 50s were, for instance, like this. This is Purple Queen, a member of the Wandering Jew family, and it's kind of like a bulletproof plant that people would use as a ground cover.
It is pretty.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's been around forever. I mean,
Yeah.
Jerry, we were talking inside about a Japanese art that you're interested in as far as gardening.
It's a style of topiary, and generally topiary is usually one of three styles. One is either the geometric forms where it's the squares, the round, the pom-poms, spirals, things like that, or it's shaped like animals, like you might see at Disney World.
Oh.
You know, you see the sea serpent or the bear or whatever. Those are the two most popular ones. The one I'm interested in is called Niwaki, and it's a Japanese style, and it uses the same principles as far as pruning, but the style and the shape of it is completely different. If the easiest way to describe it would be as a giant bonsai, and most people are familiar with what bonsais look like. Bonsai is a tree in a pot, and that's literally what it means, bonsai. Niwaki means garden tree, and so it's basically the same principles, but a tree that grows in your yard, in your garden, and can become full-size tree, anywhere from a few feet to 20, 30 feet tall.
But you just have to keep trimming it to keep it.
High maintenance, you have to keep trimming it, yeah.
That
Yes.
sounds interesting. Is there any of that in the Arboretum?
We have a few samples of it. I'm a student of the art. I'm not a master of it, so I have a few samples of it, but it's, it's something that you kind of learn as you go.
Oh, maybe you'd like to teach a class on it here at the Cultural Center.
We could do that,
That
yeah.
would be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be great. Well, I think we've got a good idea of how we're going to proceed here, so check back and you'll see the place transformed. Here we are. Now we're in the atrium. This is one of my favorite places in the house. I just love the lighting and the warmth of the wood. Now, can we put plants in here? Would they thrive?
Certain plants would. We were talking about topiaries early. They would not be happy here. They need to have intense sunlight all the time to get the dense growth. So this is too shady for them.
Okay.
This would be good for filler plants if you wanted to have like a larger palm tree or perhaps a ficus tree, even though this is a plastic one. Something like this size tree, or you could have small ferneries or little garden type plants.
Ferns. I bet ferns would be good.
They would be, they would be very happy here.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.